The Rasa Office Hours, we have a very special edition here. I'm delighted to welcome my teammate, Emma Wightman, who many of you may already know. She's really active on the forums. If you're a Rasa hero or superhero, you've probably chatted with her. And of course, you started streaming as well. You did like your little, I shouldn't call it little, you did like I would call like a test stream, your first foray into the format last week before
hmm
last.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, thanks for welcoming me. And actually, it's so nice to be to join the office hours for the first time. Yeah, I've been working on obviously community initiatives, and one of them is the community showcase, and so
Mm.
that's something that we premiered on the YouTube channel, and we had 2 episodes so far. And yeah, we want to do that like every few weeks, and basically the premise is just to kind of give an overview of what's going on with the community and obviously highlight the really exceptionally awesome like community projects that are out there, because we yeah, I really want to find a way we can platform it more and kind of showcase more like the in-depth what's how it's working, and maybe how the community can like maybe build something similar themselves or even collaborate. So yeah, it's really fun. It's been really fun. Last week we spoke to Angus, and he's working on some cool project as well.
So very excited to have you on the office hours. I'm sorry, I forgot that there were two. I feel bad. um, but hi Bob, welcome to the stream. Um, so what I was thinking we could do, well, we're waiting for questions, so please feel free to ask any questions that you have, specifically questions about becoming a Rasa contributor, or say if somebody wanted to get on the community showcase, we can talk about some possible paths towards that. And yeah, but first I would actually really like to start with you talking about what it is that you do at Rasa, because your title is community manager, and I think some people have probably interacted with community managers without really knowing what the job's about. What do you do? Because you wear a lot of hats, and I think it'd be very helpful to learn more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll try to summarize a little bit. I mean, obviously, in context of Rasa, we mostly responsible for just kind of running our community platforms, obviously being engaged with the community and kind of listening into kind of the community mood and making sure that everything is run, healthy
Mm.
and that folks are feeling like that they can have an open discussion about maybe their challenges with using Rasa or things that they love about Rasa, and that they can have an open space to discuss it and share meaningful feedback. And at the same time, yeah, obviously making sure we recognize the awesome achievements by our open source community. So yeah, I think most people know by now, but you can contribute code and lots of different things to the Rasa, yeah, Rasa ecosystem and Rasa code base, and yeah, as an open source project. And so what we want to do is make sure that yeah, all of these contributions are, that we outline them, that we recognize them, and yeah, obviously showcasing them for what they are. So often they're like really huge achievements and milestones. So yeah, that's a bit of a summary of the things that we do. And obviously we're running lots of initiatives as well and things for the community, and lots of also lots of things in the pipeline for community at the moment as well. So yeah, a little summary.
Hi Nick, welcome to the stream. Yeah, you do so much, and we're so lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
It's nice. It's nice to be able to talk to people like and have that like quick back and forth. Not that we don't love the forums and the many ways we have of talking with our community, but I don't know, it's just nice.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a really awesome community as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like so eager to learn, so talented.
Mm.
Like I'm always so amazed. That's literally the biggest motivator for me. And my job is seeing the really unique and really cool projects that come out. Like some days I'm always surprised and always excited about it.
It is. It's a good community.
Yeah.
Uh, and of course, a community means everyone who uses Rasa. But one thing that you help a lot with is folks who want to become contributors.
Mhm.
So do you want to talk a little bit about our first? We'll let's. I'm trying to decide if it would be better to talk about the contributor program as a whole, and then a little bit
Mhm.
more detailed about how to make a contribution, or to start with making the contribution and then talk about the program. So I'll let you pick whichever one of those you want to focus on first.
Sure. I mean, I can give a quick summary maybe of the program itself, and then maybe we can dive into like kind of the process of getting into the program. And I think the benefit of the program as well is to kind of make it a bit more of a easier kind of pathway and journey into becoming an open source contributor, and like breaking down those barriers in the first step, because it can be very daunting. Like Rasa open source is a very huge project, and you know, especially on the code side, I'll talk a little bit more because there's more ways you can contribute as well, not just code. But yeah, on the code side, it definitely can be a bit challenging in the beginning. So what we do, or what we have done, and what actually Yusta founded before I started, especially, is the program, which yeah, is there to also make sure that we recognize these contributions that come in. And so just to give a quick example and overview of the stages. So you have first we have kind of Rasa contributors, Rasa heroes, and Rasa superheroes. And to become a contributor, like the first step, what you do is have like one PR merge, so one pull request merge, for example. This can also be a typo fix, and you know, we appreciate it all because it all takes time. Like even a typo can take time to to work on. So this is considered a contribution. And then we also take things in like maybe a tutorial that someone has written, or they help a little bit on the forum, or they maybe host an event, or all these kinds of different things. And then we want to enter them into the contributor program. So there are various perks involved. I think we can also go into detail about that too. But just to also mention, yes, definitely, it's the goodies. Just to quickly mention, like heroes and superheroes as well. So like heroes, or Rasa heroes, is a way for us to also recognize folks that make like consistently high quality contributions. So if they maybe make a tutorial every month or something, or they're, you know, frequently making video tutorials, or they're consistently making code contributions, obviously this is taking also time, and we want to find a way to also recognize that. And so there's a few more perks that go to this as well. And then there's a kind of final level of the program so far, which is Rasa Superhero. And Rasa Superhero is really like the exceptional stage where folks are kind of community managers in their own right, because they are like kind of running local chapters, perhaps. Like maybe they, for example, Howell is running the community in China. He has his own kind of QQ channel chat where he will also answer questions in the local language, and also do like, you know, big workshops. And maybe someone that's Rasa Superhero has a really, really exceptional like code project that they share. So yeah, this is just a few examples, but this is kind of an example of how you kind of move up the program. And yeah, and then maybe we can also summarize at some point how, like, a bit more about the first step, the first step into becoming contributor.
Definitely. Yeah. Just to catch up with the chat, Deshaun wants to know if they missed something. Nope, you're good. And also the recording for this will be available immediately after, so you can go back and watch the first little bit if you're interested. And Robbie says hello. Hello, Robbie. Welcome back. So yeah, let's talk about becoming a contributor, and then maybe once we've given people a little bit of a walkthrough, because as you mentioned, obviously we appreciate and are delighted by folks who like have a lot of time to give. But even if you don't have that much time, we're still very thankful for every contribution. We're open source. We run on our community. And, you know, if you've used Rasa, you've benefited from, I mean, obviously the Rasa team's work, but also the work of all of our community members who help make it better. So let's talk about it. How do I become a contributor? I'm on board. What do I do?
Yeah, so I think the first step, a lot of folks also kind of become contributor and don't realize it, but obviously it's really good if, for example, that if you do write a tutorial, like on the support side, if you write a tutorial, or you maybe are helping out in the forum, you get in contact with us and let us like share it with us, so that we can first also share it with the rest of the community, the great work that's been done, but also for us to enter you into the program. So that on the support side, just kind of letting us know that you've written that tutorial is like a really good first step in becoming contributor. And then if you want to also become co-contributor, what you have to do is contribute some code to our open source project. It could also be a bug fix, and if this is merged into our main repository, then an update, then you are automatically also entered into the program. So like we mentioned, if you maybe fix a typo or maybe a line of code, or if it's your first contribution, like it all matters and all counts. So yeah, that's kind of a rough overview how you become code contributor as well. But I also shared with you earlier the guidelines for becoming co-contributor. So I think that might be helpful as well for people that are just getting into it. We are endeavoring to keep this updated as well as we go, because some things can change. But if you kind of want to if you've never made a pull request before ever, and you don't know where to start, don't know what that even is, it also has an overview about what a pull request is and kind of how you do that in the first place.
And so I'm going to show how to get to this from the Rasa repo. But the second thing I wanted to ask while I'm clicking around is, so you mentioned people should get in contact with us. What's the best way to get in contact?
Yeah, really good question. So one of the ways is to email us at community@rasa.com. I think we can also put that into the description of this YouTube. I'll remember to add it at the end for folks. I could also actually type it in the chat, but the other thing is also writing on our forum. So if you just share in our forum your tutorial or anything that you've contributed, or even if you know someone else that's contributed and you want to make sure they're also recognized, you can exactly post it in the forum. And the best section in the forum is there's a kind of contributor section actually in the forum that we added not so long ago. And it's like a section for tutorials and videos and all kinds of things. So yeah.
And then just to show folks how to get to this, so from the Rasa HQ/Rasa repo, and this is where Rasa open source lives, it's just in that main repository, and it's contributing .markdown. So that's how you would get to it. And I'll just pop on down to the section about how to open a PR. So it's really well documented, I would say, talking about all of the different steps you need to do to make the pull requests. And I will say, not all pull requests are going to get merged. Many of them will, but if it doesn't, usually the engineering team will be able to give you a little bit of feedback on why that is. And there's, a wide variety of reasons, and it's not necessarily because your code is bad. It might just be that there's a broader product reason why it doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Actually, just to kind of go on a little bit after your point and back that up, I realize it is sometimes very good to open an issue first. And I think this is also mentioned in the guidelines that, if we don't want you to also waste your time and things like that. So a good way is to reach out to the team and kind of discuss a little bit maybe what you want to contribute, or just to get some feedback maybe on the initial idea. And maybe even a bit of support in some cases. So that's a good way to start, but definitely those guidelines will kind of walk you through the process.
And the submitting an issue is the first thing here, and yes, please do that first.
Yes.
Old Player says hi. Old Player. Arian wants to know, what are the benefits of being a contributor to Rasa? So we teased a little bit about perks before. Do you want to talk about what some of those are?
Yeah, definitely. This is, obviously really a big part. We really want to make sure that we reward you back for the great things that you do and how you help us, because, it's a huge benefit for us that you do that. So yeah, we have some swag that we give away. So when you become a contributor in the first place, when you make a contribution, we send a little Rasa pin and some stickers, and also a little card, and we enter you into the contributor Slack as well. So we have like an actual Slack where contributors also have opportunity to collaborate with each other. Sometimes we might run like special offers there, or have a contact with the team in case of early access feedback, things like that. Also, in terms of kind of the next steps as well in becoming Rasa Hero and Superhero, and a bit further on in the program. So one of the big things I think is really valuable for contributors and folks that are also very avid and fans of Rasa, and also really into the using it is to have insights early about updates, and to get a little bit maybe earlier insight, and maybe the opportunity also to share more feedback. I mean, this is something we also do kind of community wide, but it's something that I really believe is also a really nice benefit for heroes and superheroes, for kind of helping us to shape Rasa as well. And and obviously also kind of featuring their content and their blog, making sure that we really feature the content that they have and really outline them as like community advocates, which is what they are. And I think what's really important as well as we go forward, and what I've kind of recognized also community wide, is that we really want to support like that career growth, because a lot of our community members are, really shaping up their career in building chatbots, or want to like maybe have course, like we saw lots of folks also doing the workshop and things. So I think we want to do also a bit more in terms of perks that are going to help you in your in your resume maybe, and also your career in this kind of direction. So there's a lot more things that we want to do and plan as well, but this is the kind of direction we go in. And so a mixture of kind of all kinds of stuff, like also forum badges and like digital kind of perks. So we're always kind of adding to it, but there's already quite a lot that we want to make sure we do for you guys as well.
Definitely. And just to touch on a point more about contributing to open source generally, it doesn't have to be Rasa. Particularly if you're a career switcher and you maybe don't have a lot of formal degrees in computer science, having a track record of contributions to open source means, not only you can write the code and it works, but also that, the maintainers or the software engineers who are running the project looked at it and were like, yeah, good, this is professional quality, we're adding it, you're good to go. So it can help to boost your resume. And I'm not saying you need to make a lot of open source contributions to get into software engineering, but it can be very helpful, just as sort of an intangible. Okay, so we have some questions. Are there any chatbot competitions for machine learning? Yeah, do you want to talk about that, Emma? A little bit?
Nice. I think you're onto something there. We actually are like outlining and planning a contest kind of bot kind of slash hackathon at the moment. We're still really kind of getting down to the nitty and gritty and the details of what that really will look like. But it's definitely something that when I've been working in communities before, I really understand and the excitement and the kind of bonds that can be built during these kind of like contests and things. And so the idea is that we want to also make sure that this is a possibility to be a kind of collaborative kind of contest as well, that you can find other folks that maybe work on projects together and make it kind of, obviously an event out of it. So and maybe even having that as a frequent thing as well. So there's we're still kind of ironing out the details, but that's definitely on the agenda, and definitely something I also really love to work on, and I think is really beneficial for community as well. I don't know if you maybe have more specific questions about how it might look, but still ironing it out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone who's ever been in a machine learning competition, I think, is aware that it can be quite complex to make sure that it is both fair and also that there are meaningful differences. There's space for meaningful differences between systems. So we're working on it.
Yes.
And when I say we, I mostly mean Emma. Royal.
Yes. I mean, exactly. That's exactly right. There's we want to make sure that we do it right, that the rules are fair, and all these things.
Question from Rick. I think it's just an update on a project. Hello to you both. I'm working on integrating Rasa with Drupal content management system, open source. Ooh. I'm familiar with Drupal. I no longer use it for a variety of reasons. I'm giving a talk on adding a chatbot to a Drupal website at Drupal Camp New York City. Oh, that's fantastic. So if any of you are at Drupal Camp New York City, definitely check that out. Also, if that's going to be, Rick, you should definitely post on the forums about that. Also, if it's going to be virtual, I think it would be great to share the link so that folks who are maybe not in New York can check it out. Yeah, fabulous. And then a question from Nick. How can we encourage chatbot developers across the world to join and help the community or contribute to Rasa? I think Emma's the perfect person to answer this question.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I mean, a lot of the things that we do in the community as well, we really focus on like the organic side of things, making sure that we, in terms of like kind of platforming and also, pushing forward like the contributors that we already have, showcasing kind of like how they kind of got into the contribution itself and showing like, maybe how the journey can be, and like helping in terms of guidance, I think. So I think showing that it's from these folks and advocates and the already existing superheroes, like how not easy it can be, but how you can definitely do this yourself, or anyone can get into this. I think that's also a really good first step, is just like making sure all the barriers are broken, and that folks can see that their own personal journey, and see that this is totally possible for anyone. And even if maybe you need a little support, can always reach out to us as well. So I think that's a big step of it. I think the other part is also, of course, the initiatives. And so in terms of just, in terms of actually making sure we recognize that we share perks, that we, that there are benefits for contributors when on the other side as well, and showcasing that, and how it can be beneficial for a career as well, for if you contribute to a project, and how it can be, when you're going for a job and things. I think this can be helpful in as a developer. So I think especially that, but also obviously initiatives going into the future. I think one of the things we want to do is exactly what was mentioned before, in terms of these events and like contests and things. I think having these kind of I don't know, like exciting kind of moments that you can share, and like finding other folks that maybe you can collaborate with to make a contribution as well. I think that's another really good next step, is to pair people up and find ways that folks can maybe get some guidance from others into contributing. So these are a few things that I think we do, or that we're looking to do as well, to encourage folks to contribute to Rasa.
Yeah. It's definitely something that we want to support.
Definitely. And I just wanted to say also especially hi to Dishant and Nick, because they are also superhero and Rasa hero as well. And they're here. So awesome stuff. Like Dishant's doing also lots of things, like he made a Discord server, and also workshops and events, and also has a great YouTube channel. And Nick is also doing answering an absolute ton of questions on the forum, and really helping a lot of developers kind of get going with Rasa. So thanks also. A little thank you, shout out.
Thanks. Great questions, and +1 on the shout out. We have another question from Mitesh. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. On how many platforms is Rasa compatible? Oh, that's a good question. So I believe if you're talking about operating systems, the operating systems that we officially support right now are, this was recently updated, I don't remember off the top of my head. It works, I can say, on Windows, on Linux, and on Mac OS. If you are using the M1 chip, there is an unresolved known issue with TensorFlow and M1. There are some workarounds, they're pretty janky. Most of our customers and a lot of people who are putting bots into deployment will run in a Linux VM in the cloud. So I would say in terms of like number of Rasa interactions handled, that tends to be the bulk of them. But in terms of like assistants built, including prototypes, it's, I used to know this off the top of my head, but definitely people use all three systems locally, and then also virtual machines. So the real bottleneck there is TensorFlow. So pretty much any system that works with TensorFlow, you can run Rasa on, more or less. That's kind of vague, but it depends. There's a lot of dependencies.
And that's one really great way that community can help us, is with the tutorials. I also believe that's a really important part, and really why I think the support contributions are so valuable as well, is that as we update and also other softwares update and other compatibilities come in, like having community maybe write tutorials, like updating them at the same time is so helpful for the ecosystem of community. I think as we go forward as well and more things come out and more softwares that can be connected to, it's so helpful when the community does this for us and helps us with this. So yeah.
Definitely. I saw the announcement of the new Mac M chip, and I was like, well, I know somebody's going to run Rasa on it, and I hope they share their feedback so we can learn about it. Also, Nick says, thanks, Emma.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so while we're waiting, another question from Nick. A contributor or Rasa hero or superhero can get a chance to work with the Rasa team. I mean, a full-time job, question mark. Oh, yeah. You want to talk about it?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, actually, we have hired heroes and superheroes into the team. Greg Stevens was a Rasa hero. He's still working with our team, and folks are always really encouraged to apply because obviously, as a Rasa hero and superhero, you and any kind of avid community member, you have a really kind of, I would say, kind of unique perspective on how Rasa works, and so I think that really does help, and obviously lots of experience, and that's a massive help, and I think a massive like kind of booster in terms of like the application process. So we definitely encourage everyone to apply, and of course having that unique knowledge is a big benefit during the process.
I will say we really can't make any guarantees, and that's sort of all I can say there, but I can show you our open positions, which might be relevant.
Yes.
So we have some design and marketing positions. We have customer success, and this is a technical role. So except for the manager, I think. Oh, actually, I think the manager role might be also somewhat technical. I'm not as familiar with this latter, but the solutions engineers basically help people prototype and build systems and figure out architectures and work with debugging, and particularly if you have experience with very large systems, ML ops, this can be a really fun, challenging role. And then the software engineering is more building Rasa itself. And then we have obviously a lot of roles there. And these are specifically Europe based. So if you are not in Europe or the Europe time zone, you might have a little bit of a harder time. And also there's stuff about like visas and sponsorships that I don't know about, but I know that it exists. And then we also have some product managers where if you have a lot of product experience, it might be a good fit for you. So yeah, we've got a lot of roles. And also we're hiring for developer advocate, which is my role. Ideally, someone who speaks Mandarin would be great. So that's sort of our current open roles. Nick says, face with stars for eyes, thumbs up. Yeah, definitely. Feel free to apply. And good luck.
Yeah, definitely. Good luck for the process and everything.
Yeah, you're welcome, Mitesh. So, something that I always like to ask in the office hours, and I'm going to rephrase it for you because I don't want to ask you to play favorites. So I often ask people what their favorite chatbots are. But I would love to ask you what some community projects that you really enjoyed are. And I'm not going to say that these are your top ones, and I'm not going to say that these are the only good ones. It's just the ones that are sort of top of mind for you right now.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. I think like things that maybe just kind of recently come up to my mind. So one amazing project which we did feature on the showcase last time, which is why it's another reason why it's super fresh in my mind, is the project that Angus LC is working on with his also fellow students. And yeah, he's working on bot that supports folks that are partially sighted, and so it's able to recognize text on like food labels and things like this, and through the dialogue manager of Rasa, which is the part that is being used with Rasa, is able to really recognize what's written there and to also support in terms of like maybe dietary requirements that are needed. But in general, I think that the fact that Rasa is being used as a part to something like that, or it's really I think it really goes in hand with our like one of our missions as well at Rasa in terms of making sure that Rasa is accessible to everyone, or like striving for that outcome. And I think that that's a really wonderful endeavor to be on, and I'm really excited about that, and like all of the kind of components that it brings together and the kind of things that are worked on next. So that's really fascinating to me and exciting. So there's more. So I mean, something that also sticks in my mind very much is Julian Gerhardt's project as well. So he's worked a lot on a kind of a smart speaker project and kind of doing this from scratch as well, and incorporating Rasa into using speech synthesis and more on the kind of voice bot side of things. And I find that really, really cool because he's also put together a project with also having an avatar. So there's also an avatar that you can talk to. I think he's also in talks with some schools in Germany about maybe potentially implementing a sort of bot like this, or working on something like that. So I think it's really, really fascinating that, it's like from a hobby project turns into something like real. Yeah. Another one, I could go on all day. Honestly, I could go. Another one would be, there was I forget his name unfortunately, but he was also on the first showcase, and he worked on also a remote control car where it was kind of voice commanded. So that's really interesting part I find as well, is there's that aspect of communication with the bot and having a chat bot, but also like the voice command side of it as well. And that also happened with another project, Cocoon Island, where folks actually integrated Unity with Rasa. Unity is a game development kind of software / engine where you can develop video games on there, but they also integrated it so that the little avatar, little coconut guy, was walking around an island based on the voice commands as well, using Rasa. So a lot of these projects really stick out to me because it just shows like the breadth and of what you can really do with Rasa, and really integrate it with so many different types and styles of project. But of course, like contributions, there's massive contributions that come into the code that make a huge benefit to the code base as well. I think Howl's was one where it allowed the project to run, I think it was on cloud storage as well. It was one of the first opportunities to run on the cloud. So there's lots of like major contributions that have come up in the past, but there's so many. I could really go on for so long.
Maybe if we have extra time at the end, I'll keep
come back to that.
We do have some questions, so I want to make sure we get a chance to handle it. So Mitesh says, how should a beginner start developing a chatbot using Rasa? Are there beginner-friendly tutorials other than the documentation? So I would recommend the Conversational AI with Rasa video course, I guess. And that is actually on our Learning Center. One sec, let me pull it up, and then I'll share my screen. And that is learning.rasa.com. And this is the Conversational AI with Rasa course, and it sort of walks through basically what you need to start building a Rasa assistant. So for each of these, this is also on our YouTube. This is, we have videos, and then also we have some written information, I guess, and then also a couple of exercises if you'd like to test yourself. And also, if you're looking for the next step after finishing the course, we have our developer certification. And the study guide here can help you test your knowledge and prepare for the certification. And our aim with the certification is that if you're Rasa certified, you should be able to confidently build a simple assistant. So if you're looking for more structure for your learning, that's what I would recommend. Is there anything else that you'd recommend, Emma?
I think you highlighted actually a lot of it. I think a really amazing resource is definitely the YouTube channel. You also do so amazing videos. I think I learned so much from the YouTube channel and obviously Learning Center. Obviously the tutorials that come out of the blog. There's so many. so many things, but definitely these channels are like really go-to places.
Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question, Mitesh. Nick wants to know, do we have a UK-based community?
Yeah, we do. It's we actually have a chapter in London, so I don't think we've had any recent meetups, but we are looking for someone actually to maybe help organize more meetups in London or in UK. And so that chapter actually has 95 members, I believe. So yeah, I mean, I can also link that into the chat maybe. So if you're looking to kind of also get to know folks from UK, there is also a section in our forum where you can local chapters or local communities in my area. So you can also maybe make a post if you're looking for other folks in your area that like Rasa and want to do meetups or want to anything to do with Rasa in your local area, then that section in the forum is very good place if you're asking, or maybe first checking if there's a thread already for that area. And and I just link here the meetup group actually for London. So if anyone is interested to make a meetup there and wants to make a meetup in that chapter for UK, you can let me know.
We also have a lot of Rasa team members in Edinburgh. There's like a little community there of people who work for Rasa. But I'm not going to promise that they will continue to do Rasa outside of their work hours.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris. Welcome. Happy to see you.
Hey.
Chris says, I'm also Chris Rom. I think it's Rom. Maybe Rame. Rom seems likely on the forum if you know me.
I think it's like Rame because it has like the way he wrote it. I think he'll forgive us.
Apologies.
Yes.
All right, and it sounds like
also Rasa Hero, by the way.
Yeah, so it looks like we don't have any other questions right now. I'm keeping an eye on it, so do feel free to ask. But I am going to... I don't want to get us back on the topic of excellent assistance quite yet. I am actually going to ask you, do you have a feature in Rasa that you think more people should know about?
Oh gosh.
And if you don't, it's fine.
Yeah. I'd have to think about that one. I will think about it though, and probably come up with something by end of this stream. How long do I have? Maybe a bit. Just give me a little bit to think about it. But I think like one of them is it's probably going to be like the connectors, like the communities contributed. I think what's really cool actually is Dishant is working on a really interesting feature that hopefully, I guess you would call it feature, that hopefully goes in the next one of the next updates. I obviously can't say when exactly, but he's working on a connector for Instagram, and I think like the fact that you can connect it to all these channels is really, really cool. I'm really interested. Be really interested to see like community projects surrounding like voice channels and like community channels.
Yeah, definitely. There are some really fabulous tutorials that people have written about connecting to different channels and platforms that are so helpful. I mean, even for me, like I couldn't possibly do a tutorial for everything you could connect Rasa to. And I also, even if I did, I wouldn't necessarily know what's most helpful for different folks in different situations. So being able to see not only the tutorials, but also what do people care enough to write a tutorial on is really useful for us. And you and your fellow Rasa users.
Yeah.
Question from Nick. What is the meaning of Rasa? Or is it a shortening for anything? And Chris says, I think it comes from tabula rasa.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yep.
It actually is. Yeah, I think, that's the thing. As far as I understand, it's from tabula rasa, so like blank slate in machine learning. But at the same time, another fun fact: Sarah, our mascot, is an anagram. Is it anagram? I think of Rasa. Yeah. I always mix that up with the other, but so Rasa and Sarah. They're the origin story.
Yeah. And there was so we were a pretty multilingual team just in terms of like the languages what Rasa developers speak. So it also was something that wasn't inappropriate in other languages. I think it means like something like taste in not Sanskrit. I mean, yeah, also probably Sanskrit if I had to guess. But I think it means something like taste in some languages of the Indian subcontinent, which I know is underspecified, but I'm not entirely sure which ones off the top of my head.
Is that you mean Rasa itself?
Like the word.
Yeah, I actually was looking into this because I have it's a random thing, but I have a notification for Google Scholar when someone writes an article about Rasa, and so what comes up a lot is the Indonesian language because I think Rasa means actually it's like a connecting word. It's like and or something, or maybe I'm completely off on that. I don't want to completely say something wrong there, but yeah, it comes up a lot in that language too. It's like Rasa is coming up quite a bit. So popular over there.
It's a very good consonant vowel mix.
Top marks.
Yes. And Krista says it is rame. Sorry about that. Yeah, so, and again, I'm keeping an eye on questions. Feel free to keep asking the questions. But I thought it might be helpful for us to take a little look at the contributor section in the forum and help people find it and navigate to it. Nick wants to know, are we planning some Rasa-related emojis for the forum? Ooh.
That's actually a great point. Yeah, I know you can add custom emojis onto our forum, and it's something that I really would like to do. We've got some kind of badges and some things in the works, and some new kind of badges and stickers in the works right now for like maybe community-driven contests and things like that. And I think there is a opportunity there to maybe add some emojis as well. So, but I think what's really nice is if we had ones that the community kind of put forward and like something that I don't know, maybe we could transfer some from our Slack as well.
Could be a prize in the chatbot contest as you get to submit an emoji and have it added.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great idea. So I think yeah, we don't have any plans right now, but it's a really good point, and I will make a note to go back on that one too. Again, check back on that one.
I have a question. Chris said, I'd love to have a Font Awesome logo for Rasa as well. We can add that
awesome
to the list,
logo.
I guess.
We should have a request list because I actually don't know what that is. I'm sorry. I don't know what Font Awesome is.
I know it's something that designers talk about a lot.
I'm a noob. I don't know what that is.
We're both Googling it right now. I'm assuming.
Is it just read font in general?
A font and icon toolkit based on CSS and less. As of 2020, Font Awesome is used by 38% of the sites that use third-party font scripts, placing Font Awesome in second place after Google Fonts. And I think it's open source. I don't know that for sure, though.
I think that should be quite straightforward to add. I think it's like you get like a batch of icons and you can add them. I'll take a look. Great suggestion. I like that. Keep this coming. I like these suggestions. I think we could add something like that fairly easily. I'll just check.
Yes, it is open source, but you need to have a pro plan to update. I'm on their website. I'm looking it up as we speak. Yeah. And we did have a question from May. Why Rasa is not installing in my system? It shows the error missing dependency. So the missing dependency error means Rasa relies on a lot of other libraries, right? So like TensorFlow, we didn't build our own machine learning framework. So if TensorFlow isn't installed in your system, you won't be able to use Rasa and you'll get that error. So what I would recommend is we actually have a set of installation guides. So of course there's the, let me pull it up. I think it's in the Learning Center, but it's a little bit hidden. let me pull it up. I think I actually have an open ticket about this. It's in the Learning Center, but it's a little bit hidden. And also it's on our YouTube page. This section that says introduction actually has the links to all of the installation videos. And of course, you can also check our documentation. But for installing, particularly on Windows, there's several steps that you need, unfortunately, to make TensorFlow run on Windows. So I would go through the installation videos, see if that helps, and if it doesn't, then I would ask on the forum. Let me show you the URL as well. URL. Yeah. So just with the information you've shared, I'm afraid I can't answer the question completely, but those are the steps I would recommend. All right. So let's have a little mini guide to the forum. So just looking at this, I'm seeing that you have a little Rasa logo, and some other folks have, this is Jonathan Wheat, have a little person with a star on the chest. So what does that mean? Where do we get those from? Oh, look, there's someone who might be in the chat right now.
Nick there too. Yeah, so I mean, these are so we have badges as well, which kind of go onto your profile, but to add these icons that are shown on, like on the front page, and on your actual icon, this is from joining a group. And so what we have is, we have several so far. So we have Rasa Hero. So the one you can see there is Rasa Hero. Jonathan Wheat's a Rasa Hero. Also lots of support, amazing. It's also doing some tutorials on dev.to. Shout out to Jonathan Wheat. And yeah, for example, that's the hero one. We also have superhero badge, but we also have badges for the workshop. So when you complete a certification workshop, I think you can navigate maybe to those little bars on the top right. And then if you go to the groups, oh yeah, this is a good example. So that's a Rasa certification. And then we also have it for the advanced. And I think one of the great things about this is obviously not only do we want to recognize folks that have managed to achieve and complete the workshops, but it really shows other community members as well, like who's completed these workshops and who might actually be able to really help out. So I think they're really helpful to kind of recognize in community who has what kind of expertise and who is, how maybe much experience they have with Rasa through maybe the heroes and superheroes one. So yeah, I think there is more that we want to do as well. For example, with the contest, we want to have badges as well, of course, for winners and things like that. So yeah, the little summary.
And just an update on the certification badge, if you have looked into it before. So you get your certification badge now. It should be automated. Let us know if there's any issues with that by doing the certification. So on the Rasa Learning Center, it's linked right here, and this will open up the certification exam. You can enter your information and go through and take it. And if you pass with 85% or more, you'll get your certificate right away. And also, after perhaps a slight pause, your badge should show up on the forum. And let us know if it doesn't. We have recently redone that process to make it faster and more automated. And if you're wondering what's in the certification exam, there's a study guide. So this is the things you'll be asked about. We're pretty transparent about it. And then you get your swanky badge on the forum.
Yeah, exactly.
And groups, which is in the hamburger menu, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there it is, exactly. There you can see an overview. So we have a few test ones there, I think, just to make that dog it's like kind of a test group. But it's also a possibility we can use emojis for groups as well. But yeah, that's kind of a little quick overview of and we are also working on moderations as well and having a badge there. So we're working on that process at the moment. It's taking a bit longer because we're working on the NDA side and making sure the legality is right and everything. But we want to bring some like community members a bit closer and give them some more abilities to help the community, some more powers. So yeah, that's a little insight there, but we'll keep you updated on that as well, especially on the forum.
And I'm not logged in right now, so you can see that these are all close to me and you'd be invited. For example, if you became a superhero, you'd be invited to the superhero group.
Exactly.
Oh, and the Learning Center is also linked here at the top of the forum for now. This is where we put different announcements. So if you were here last week for our TensorFlow 2.6 stream, this is the link to the announcement about that. We have, let me say thank you. You're very welcome. Good luck with that. Nick says, it's me with Money Heist. Question, custom form is not available on Udemy. It's not accepting enrollments. Just for information, any plan to update the course? It's a great question. So we are actually deprecating the Udemy courses. I can't close them until February, but we're not accepting any additional people to sign up. And the reason is we are, A, the content's out of date and we're not updating it anymore. And B, we're working on all the Udemy courses except for the intro one right now are paid. And we're working on making sure that our educational materials are available without charge. So that's the situation there. And you can expect more information and more educational content to be available without charge. And we do have a YouTube series on forms that is also linked here in the Learning Center as well. So if you would like some educational content about forms, we got you. Here it is. And we do have, right now we are very focused on the 3.0 release as a team, but we do have plans to continue creating and sharing more advanced content to help you on your Rasa journey. So yes, that's a little peek behind the curtains, and the Udemy workshops are going to be slowly more and more out of date. And there should be, if you are enrolled in one of them, there should be a notification that they're not currently being supported by the team. So hopefully that's not a surprise for anyone who is enrolled or has tried to enroll recently. But yes, that's the situation with those. And then Twan had a question. I see that you've asked twice. How to build a Rasa voice in a website with Vietnamese. So, it depends. So there's going to be a couple parts of that. So one is the Vietnamese automatic speech recognition. For a Rasa assistant, we don't build an ASR system. You'd have to connect to one. So you would need some sort of system or service that takes in the voice signal and transcribes it. From there, once your text has been transcribed, then you would build a Rasa assistant as usual using Vietnamese. And I believe that we actually have some community reports and research on that found, I think one very practical recommendation I can give you is that the fast text embeddings had the best performance for the least training data. So I would definitely recommend that for Vietnamese language. And I can try and find that study. I'm not 100% sure where it was. We did an off reading group on it.
I have a link. I have it.
Oh, yes,
In the meantime, I can share it in the chat. What I would share first is there's a discussion in our forum with folks from Vietnam, which are, they're discussing in local language. So maybe it's also worth to chat with them. Maybe that's helpful with place as well. But also the video for a reading group. I think it's this one. Sorry, adverts. Enhancing Rasa NLU model for Vietnamese chatbot. I think it's this one. I'll share that in the chat as well.
And I think this is the community you were mentioning on the forum.
Yes, exactly. The link there is the community in Vietnam in the forum. There's lots of discussion going on in there.
So yeah, hopefully that. Well, but also I don't know that I am seeing the links.
Oh. Do you see it in the chat? Sorry, I put it directly into the chat.
I don't see it.
Okay, I'll link it to you as well.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Maybe link it too.
I think we have a restriction on, I think YouTube has a restriction on posting links. That might be.
Oh, right. Yeah, makes sense. And I'm logged into my personal one, so it probably makes sense. There we go.
But I should be able to post it if you share with me. There we go. So I'll share these. So this is the YouTube video with the paper. You could also just go to the video and get the paper from the, it's in the description of the video with the link to the paper. Sorry, I'm doing two things, and it's pretty challenging. There
Yeah,
we go.
lots of different things at once.
So that first link is to the forum group, and then the second link is to the YouTube video. And Tahir says, just came to say love Rasa. Well, thank you. Antoine says, thank you, I love Rasa too. Oh, well, shucks.
Oh, I love this community.
All right, so we got about 5 minutes, and we're definitely gonna answer any questions that come up, or we'll do our best to. Oh, actually, we do have a question. Vin wants to know, I'm trying to integrate my Rasa model with Google Assistant. Would it be possible to get some updated documentation for this? I just see an old blog post on the topic, but the steps look outdated. Yeah, great question. We know it's outdated. It is something that we are thinking about. Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, again, we can sort of talk a little bit behind the curtain. There's definitely a balance between providing new content on new things that come out and keeping the old content updated. And for some things, it just doesn't make sense to continue to go back and update the old content, particularly if we're working on something else that is like equivalent for the new content. But yes, we know that it is outdated, and it's something that we are thinking on. But right now, again, as a team, we are very focused on the 3.0 release, which our contributors have actually provided a lot of feedback on, which has been fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So much feedback, actually. It's been wonderful, actually, to get some insight from community on it. And I'm also really excited for the update. It's going to be really fun. And we have something planned as well for that time that we launch it, right? You've been working on that.
Yes. Keep your eyes on this space.
Yes.
Yeah. We're also hoping to do just more events on YouTube, just for, to be accessible, and that help build Rasa skills as well. So TBD, TBA, to be announced. Like, all right. And with the last couple minutes, do you maybe have like one more Rasa project you want to shout out?
One more. Oh my gosh, time limit. Oh gosh, obviously there's so many amazing tutorials out there as well. I want to make sure that I encompass that. There's just so much great content on channels like Peter, who made like 20 tutorials on dev.to as well, but Rasa. I think one as well that also stuck in my mind from the showcase was someone that made a chatbot that would help folks know if there was forest fires in their area. I don't know if you saw that one in our showcase, but I think like also the fact that folks are making lots of bots which have like real life, well, actually that's a really important part on the ethics side. They can have real life consequences, but obviously if you're doing it in the right way and you're working on them in the right way, it can have some really amazing effect in terms of supporting people. So that for me was also a really impressive bot. But yeah, as I said, I could go on all day, and you actually tune into the showcase because I will go on more about these things. Yes,
absolutely. And if you've you have a project that you can share details about, and you would like to perhaps post it on the forums and tag Emma, I'm just going to say that they should tag you if they're sharing a cool project. That might be a good way to learn more about maybe how to get in the showcase, possibly. No promises. But also,
yeah, absolutely.
We'd love to hear about it. Regardless, we love to hear about it.
Yeah, exactly. We can find a place, and exactly that there's just so many things, and there will definitely be more opportunities to talk about these projects, so please let us know. Yes.
All right, we're coming right up on time. Thank you so much for joining today, Emma. Thank you so much, everybody who tuned into the stream. And if you're interested in contributing to Rasa, probably the best like one-stop shop link would be, get the right screen up, rasa.com/community/contribute. Also, if you're just on Rasa, and under the resource tab here, it says how to contribute, and it has some great community projects that we shout out, and then also some guides to lots of different ways to contributing. So of course, we're always happy to have code contributions, but we're also always happy to have support or meetup or tutorials
or a book. I just remember. Yes. Yes, great stuff by Hal. And go on. Sorry to interrupt you, but
No,
yes,
totally fine.
it's just something that's popped up.
Yeah, if you want to write a book, we'd be happy to see that. Great. So thank you so much for joining today, Emma. Thanks so much for everybody who tuned in. If you're interested in contributing, do it. It's fun. We'd love to have you.
Yes.
And I will be back on Friday for I'm actually going to give like a little bit more of a structured talk. I have slides. We're going to be talking about evaluation, validation, and testing, the differences between them, and when you want to do them in your bot development process. There's been, I've just been noticing a theme recently of people wanting more support around learning about and deploying, or I guess doing evaluation of systems and making sure that they're working good. So you might have noticed a little theme in the streams, and it might continue. We'll see. So I'll see you Friday if you tune in then. Thank you so much for joining, Emma. Keep an eye out for the next community showcase. There should be lots more great stuff in there. And otherwise, do feel free to ask any questions that you have on the forum.